hello, and welcome to the Life Strategy Show with your show host, Maxine Pearl Phillips, the Levelers Mindset Coach. This evening, we have a phenomenal show with you. I want to just share some things. Not only am I the founder and CEO of Levelless, but I am the creator of the Levelless Mindset, which is the way in which help our clients to understand how do they discover who they are? How do you define what success looks like for you? How do you design a strategy that you put in place in order to become successful? How do you develop your strengths? And how do you deliver and execute with excellence? So when you do all these things and put all that together, you cannot help but to choose the right career path that matches your everyday abilities and strengths. You cannot help but to receive the salary that you desire. And let's face it, you will live the lifestyle that you deserve. One of the things that we do here at Level Less is that we help adults. We're talking about professionals in transition, whether you're unemployed or underemployed, whether you're looking to be promoted, whether you're ready to retire or have already retired. The other group that we help are our students. We're talking about students in high school and those who are in college. Yes, ma'am. And yes, sir, because they need to understand what career path are they to choose based on their everyday natural abilities. That is one of our strong suits and a part of our capability statement that we always share with everyone. Now, here on the level is as the Life Strategy Show, I am thrilled to be able to bring to you professionals. I mean, I'm talking about artists, I'm talking about singers, I'm talking about mothers and fathers who advocate for their children. I am talking about doctors and lawyers. It does not matter what profession that you are in. What matters to us, are you willing to come on and share these platinum nuggets that you have used to put you in the position that you are to become successful in doing what you're doing? If you are, then this is the show for you. So reach out and let me know at Maxine at levellessco.com. Now, let's talk about our guest tonight. I am excited to bring to you two phenomenal people. I'm talking about Lori. Let's bring Miss Lori up. Come on down, come on down. There she is. Hello, Miss Lori.
Hi,
How are you this evening?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a mother sitting in front of us who's going to share with us how she advocated for her son Antonio and how she identified what was happening to him. You know, we have those motherly instincts, right?
Yes.
So we have to use them and we have to advocate for our children as well as for ourselves. So, Lori, before we bring Antonio up, I want you to share with me what even made you see or notice what was going on with your baby and start talking about when you first received these immunizations and what you noticed. Because I know a lot of people want to know what is autism?
Autism is something to do with it's something to do with the brain that they don't, um, all the brain waves don't interact with each other.
Right. So they're not communicating at the same time like our brain waves are in order for us to then what produce a sound or put a sentence together and for us to then express ourselves. Excellent. So tell me what happened with Antonio and just give us a little journey, your journey as a mother that you encountered with Antonio.
Okay. At 13 months old, I took him in to get immunization shots. He got the MMR and the chicken pox shot at the same time. Um, I took him home. Within 2 hours, Antonio was no longer able to put pressure on his legs. He was very fussy. Um, he was either lifting the one leg up that he got the shot in, lifting it up, or dragging it. So I called his doctor and asked what was going on, what they thought. She said, well, if he's not better in the morning, bring him in. Well, by the morning, Antonio had his arm up like he had a stroke and cried all night long and was drooling. And so I bypassed that doctor and went to a different doctor, and they started running tests on Antonio.
Wow. Okay.
And believe it or not, every test was coming back normal, but his body was shutting down. So they also did a spinal tap, and they said you can either stay here or go back home because we weren't going to get the results for 2 hours. And I said, I will stay here because he's just deteriorating. And so we waited for that test to come back. It came back normal.
Okay.
They sent us to a different hospital, and they did all kinds of tests. They poked him from head to toe with needles, trying to figure out how his muscles were working. And then they admitted him into the hospital so that they could watch him to see what was going on. They were scared to give him anything. They didn't give him anything because they didn't know how he was going to react. And they said they weren't for sure what was going on. But I felt the whole time that it was the MMR shot that he had gotten, because he was a normal child before any of that. He had no signs of anything. So he was in Rapid City Regional Hospital, and then they let us take him home for a couple days. He started getting worse. Took him back. They just watched him. By that time, his whole body was just mush. His muscles were mush and no longer able to lift his head up. And he just cried all the time. He was in a lot of pain. And so they weren't figuring it out. So I wanted to transfer him to Denver's Children's Hospital. And so we did get to transfer him to Denver's Children's Hospital. And we were there for quite a while, and they ran a bunch of tests and was watching him. They ended up having to put a feeding tube in him. They put the wrong feeding tube in. They put an adult one in instead of a children's one in. So everything was leaking out of him, and it was a high rate for infection. At the time, I didn't know they'd done that, but I knew it wasn't right. So then we finally got to go back to Rapid City, and they were doing therapy with Antonio. And every time they put him on one of those big balls, that feeding tube was poking into his stomach, and he would scream. So we finally figured out it was a adult feeding tube. And I had said, let's take it out. This boy's going to eat. I'm going to prove it to you. And they said, are you sure? Because we'll have to surgically put one back in. And I said, you know what? I prayed about it, and I feel good about it. Let's take it out. And Denver did not want to send the parts to cap it off. So we had to wait and get the parts, and got the parts, took it out, and that boy ate and he still eats. There ain't nothing he won't eat.
As a typical boy for you, right?
Yes.
My mom used to say they eat you out of house and a home.
Yes. So it was a Halloween night, and it was Halloween day, actually, and I had noticed that Antonio was doing something that wasn't normal. We were still at the hospital, and we were supposed to get released that day. And he was raising his hands up and dropping his head. And so I had notified the doctor, and the doctor said he's having seizures. And I said, okay, so we're not going to get to take him home. And he said, no. He said, you're a good enough mom that I'm going to let you take him home, and I want you to just document every time he has a seizure or anything that you feel isn't right, document it. And so he said, I'm going to put him on this medication. He said, I can't guarantee this is the right one, but let's try it. So we did, and it took several different types before we found the right one so that he wouldn't have the seizures anymore.
Wow.
And he did a lot of therapy. I would get on the floors and learn those therapies because the school came and done therapies at the house with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that wasn't enough. So I would get on the floor, do the therapies with him when they weren't there. And those therapists was very surprised on how he would meet his goals. It was just a miracle.
Wow.
And so he's doing he done real well. And then he actually graduated from high school now, and I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
He actually got a 3.0 average.
Woo,
Yeah.
woo. Let's say raise the roof.
Yes. And the one thing that I was able to do with him was always keep him one step ahead. I bought some programs for schooling that would keep him one step ahead. And we always read 25 books a week. And we always got in the dictionary and picked one word. And then he would be able to pick the word. And then he would have to write a sentence with it.
Okay.
The thing with Antonio was, when they have things like this happen to them, they don't always get it the first way that you try to teach them. Mm-hmm. So you have to teach them. I had to teach Antonio 5 different ways, one thing, before he caught on. But when he caught on, he perfectionized it, and he wouldn't let you know until he perfectionized.
Okay. So having experienced this and having to advocate for your child, what advice would you give other parents? I mean, because there's so many, the medical professions don't always know what's causing us to get sick, less known an infant to get sick. So what strategy would you share with a mother, starting out? What are some of the things they need to be watching for?
I would say the most important thing that I did was document everything. Mm-hmm. And then go and do your research and figure it out exactly what you feel it is. Represent and take that to the doctor and say, hey, this is what I'm seeing at home. So if he thinks it's something else, then you guys can work it out.
I love that because one of the things as a type 2 diabetic accountability coach is the same thing. I have my clients to document. And as a matter of fact, documenting my food actually saved my life because the medical professions could not tell me what was making me sick. So I am in 100% agreement with you that documentation is so critical. So ladies and gentlemen, as a platinum nugget, because you already know we don't drop just golden nuggets on the level of the Life Strategy Show. We drop platinum nuggets. So make sure that you document. So when you go to the doctor, you can tell them the time, the date, what was experienced, what you observed, and so forth. So Lori, thank you so much for bringing that out. Yes. So we want to bring the birthday king to the stage. We've got yes. Look at here we go. King Antonio is what I call him. Hello, King. How are you this evening?
Hi, kid.
Good. Well, your mom has just told me what she experienced as that infant, that beautiful baby boy that she received, and also what she has done to advocate for you. So while you sit there, I'm going to ask your mom a few more questions. And the questions are going to be, so tell me about some of his abilities that Antonio is able to do that the doctors thought he would not be able to do.
Okay. He can walk. He can talk. He's graduated from high school. He's a painter. He has written a book. He does entrepreneur classes every week, 3 times a week. Um, he also runs and he rides his bike 25 miles a day.
A day? Oh my gracious. I don't even do 1 mile a day. And here you are doing 25. Oh my gracious. Shame on me. Shame on me. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, with all these abilities that you have, Antonio, how does it make you feel?
Uh, it makes me feel good because I bring sunshine to people's lives.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And Antonio and I, we have had an opportunity over the last 4 or 5 months, if not 6 months, to get to know one another because he and I both belong to Every Dot Black Mastermind Group. And one of the things about Antonio is that he is so inspiring and he writes such inspirational quotes himself. At one point he was quoting other people, but now he's able to write his own quotes, which is phenomenal. So your mom tells me that you're an artist, and we're going to be viewing some of your art later on, but you're also a writer.
Yes.
And is there anything that you can share with us this evening that you have written?
Yeah. I was going to tell you all that I've written a book about one of the paintings that I did. I the Tulu and Einstein painted, and I already got names picked out from, and their names are Elias and Elenia, and it's about them going on this cute fun adventure to the rainforest, and where they see a lemur, and where they just have a lot of fun.
Wow, Antonio,
And they're besties.
I cannot wait to read that book. So have you actually published it or is it getting ready to be published? When will it be released? Any idea?
Uh, I don't have a accurate release date for it yet, but I we're working on getting it published. But we're gonna break it down into the pages and then and do our work for it, and then I'll be able to get my book out there.
Excellent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I also want you to know is that if I'm not mistaken, Antonio, so talk to me about this. Did you do the artwork in this book?
Yes, I did.
That's what I thought. So not only are they going to be purchasing your book when they get the book, but they're also going to be receiving the artwork that you designed yourself as an artist.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's very exciting. So, once he's ready to release this book, guess what? We're going to bring him back on so he can share it with you. Yes, we want to bring you back on, Antonio, so you can share with the world this book, and it's going to be ready to be released. I have Mark Lee on here. I have Kirsten. He was on here earlier, and I forgot the other person that was on because Derek.
Yep.
Derek Espinados. Did I pronounce it correctly? Well, he said Antonio brings sunshine into people's lives, and that is so true. That is so true. Yay! And of course, Mark Lee, our producer, Mark always have these phenomenal sayings that he does. He says some people say even Einstein was on the spectrum. So that's just like you, Antonio. You're so brilliant. You're out there. You're the artist. And ladies and gentlemen, what I did not mention, he's a pianist as well. So he plays the piano. Not only does he ride the bike, he writes, he's an artist, and he sings. We'll get a chance to hear that beautiful voice as well. So this young man is magnificent, and he is 25, and we are going to be celebrating his 25th birthday this evening. Yay! Woo! Woo! Yes, yes, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, why we're going okay, I do want to make you aware that we are running into some weather difficulties. So the internet might shut down on us in all three locations. So Raleigh, Durham, as well as where they are coming from. But you know what? We cannot, we can't control what Mother Nature does. So you all bear with us. And if that should happen, we'll make sure that we continue the interview at a later date so that we make sure we hear from Antonio and all of the great things that he's doing. So look like we got rain over there where our producer is at. Yeah, maybe it's getting ready to stop. I think it was heavy over there where the producer is at. And while we're doing that, uh, MC Beezer said, "Congratulations, Antonio." Beazer said, "Congratulations." So, ladies, y'all let me know where you all are coming in from. Put some happy birthday signs out there. Let Antonio know that you're here. Let me know that you're here. And yeah, wish him happy birthday or make some comments. Do some shout outs. Let's get this thing going. We're not gonna let the weather stop us. We have to keep this thing going. That's right. So Lori, so as Antonio was growing up, a lot of teenagers have their own way of doing things. I know Antonio being as bright as he is, what were some of the things that you saw yourself he wanted to do more of, even though you wanted him to do less of?
Honestly, people that have autism usually have behavioral issues. Antonio does not. He is a very easy-going young man.
Okay.
Easy to direct. I've never had, any problems.
Beautiful.
I have not. I'm so thankful.
Yes, that is awesome. That's awesome. I know once I met him, he's very manable. And talking about conversation. I engage in the conversation. I'm like, okay, Antonio. And then he sends me great videos and great, things from the internet that's interesting and educational and informational. And I will tell you that MC Beezer is calling in from Sacramento. He's watching from Sacramento, California. And Derek says, "Happy birthday from Tucson, Arizona." Yay! Excellent, excellent, excellent. And let's see, what else are we going to talk about, Lori? So he rides a bike 25 miles. So what made you start doing that, Antonio?
When I first moved here to Tacoma, South Dakota,
okay, go ahead.
In 2020, we picked out a safe, nice route for me to ride my bike on, and then that's when I started riding my bike 25 miles a day around the around the block, around the neighborhood.
Okay. Listen, with that friendly smile, that sunshine that you put out of that disposition, I'm sure everybody in the neighborhood knows Antonio.
Oh, yes, they all watch for him.
Yep, and they all watch out for me.
They all watch out for you. That's beautiful. Debbie Davis said, "Happy birthday," and she loves you. Nico, hey, my friend. Nico said, "Hi, my friend." That's beautiful. Yes, y'all keep on bringing those shout outs.
Yes. Okay. And Antonio, I can tell you a little bit about Antonio. Antonio's always done homework and still does homework. He still gets on the computer and does homework.
Yeah.
Which is a blessing, because if we don't use it, we lose it.
That's right.
And he stays on top of it all.
That is good. What a focal point, Antonio. You're so focused, and that's what we all need to do. We all need to stay focused on what our purpose is and what we're doing and what we're about and the strategies that we put in place. So that brings me to that levelist mindset, that now that you're developing your strengths and your abilities, you continue to do that. And you've always had excellence. You always delivered with excellence. Ever since I've known you, you've always delivered with excellence. And so, so you can see my website is running across there. So if you want to know more about the levelist mindset, go to levelistco.com. We'd love to be able to share that with you. So, Lori, as we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take an infomercial break. And when we take this infomercial break, not only is it going to be talking about some of the services that I offer. Look at it. Auntie Debbie Pitt loves you and happy birthday, Antonio. That's from Deborah Pitt, P-I-T-T.
Yay.
Yay. Yes. I like to make sure I let everybody, when I see them coming in, I want to make sure that I give you the information and who's saying what, because it's important that they know and you know that they're here. Auntie Marjorie also said hi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So look at you, man. You're so popular. Look at this. Look at this. So the producer is going to get ready and he is going to bring on an infomercial. And after the infomercial, we're going to show Antonio some of your paintings that you've done, the artistic work that you've done. Okay. So hang tight. Don't really move yet. So just hang tight. So don't move yet. Okay. All right, so let's see if we can get the infomercial up first. I am Maxine Phillips, Chief Learning Officer of LevelLess, a learning-based coaching company that partners with parents to empower teens to create a strategy for succeeding in life. Are you overwhelmed or feel stuck when your teen is undecided about selecting a career path? Our college and career program provides assessments, individualized coaching, and workshops to help teens identify their unique purpose and select a profession that complements their strengths. Call us.
It's amazing.
Can see it.
Yeah.
Hey, we're back. I see Antonio, and I think Antonio has a surprise for us. You know, we talked about Antonio being a pianist, and so he has a little rendition that he's going to be sharing with us. You're going to play just a little bit for us, Antonio, and then we have some guests that we want to bring on after you finish playing a little bit of the tune that you want to share with us, okay? All right, let's see. I think he's frozen. Let's see if it's going to come up. Like I said, we're having some weather conditions here in the Raleigh-Durham area, so it could be affecting our internet. And if we don't, they'll be frozen. Let's see. If I can get the producer, are you able to bring any of our guests into the show? Hi, Derek. I think if you unmute.
Hello.
How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to see Antonio get some love.
Isn't it awesome that we're able to celebrate his 25th birthday with him?
Yeah, it's great. He called me this morning, and it was his. You know, he really does like just brighten up the day because he just approaches it. His positivity is very contagious.
Yes,
So just to get a phone call from him today to say hello and excited because he was very excited about being on your show today. So that was great. And so I told him that I would do my best to take a break from business today and celebrate him, and I was happy to be able to do that.
Well, thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it. All right, so we have Zyron on. Derek, if I can get you to
Hello? Hello?
Hello. I'm
Oh,
here to listen to Antonio
Yeah, I think they're having a little
Antonio
technical
Human.
difficulty at the moment. So I think I hear in all the locations they're having some weather issues.
Okay.
So they're probably gonna be back in a little bit. And I'm sorry, I'm not
Oh.
familiar with you. Brycey?
I am Antonio's auntie. I'm Laura's
Oh,
sister.
oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you have any great Antonio
Yes,
stories to share with
Antonio's
us?
very awesome. Excuse me?
Do you have any Antonio stories to share with us?
Antonio's a wonderful young man. I watched him grow up from a baby into a young man, and he would ride his bike around the block and sing songs to the town, and everybody just loves that young man. If he ain't out
Yeah,
there, they're knocking on Lori's door, wondering what's wrong. He is
it's
just a
great.
delight for everybody.
That's great.
I just love
Oh,
him so much. Um,
oh.
so do I just hang on here then until he's
I
on?
believe you can. Yeah, I was just kind of watching myself and heard that they were having technical difficulties, and I think we kind of lost our
I
host.
appreciate
But
you letting me know.
Yeah,
no
this is
Well,
problem.
thank
Maxine
you
with
for
Track
letting me
Oh,
know.
Studios.
here's the
We've been
Because
producer.
this is the first
producing the
time.
show
This
here
is
at
my first time to
WXYZ.
see this, so I'm excited.
Oh, awesome. Well, Maxine and Mark are back. So
thank you, Derek, because
Um,
I tell you what, this internet and this weather is something else. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are winging it tonight with this internet and the weather conditions. So whomever is on, just stay on and talk until we get back on. That's how we have to do it. We're working it together. Brycey, hello. Thank you for being a part of tonight.
Hi, how are you?
I'm glad that you were able to dial in.
Yes, Antonio showed me, he gave me the link, and here I am. I'm ready to see my nephew, and I'm very proud of him and his mother. She's a wonderful lady.
Well, thank you, thank you. Because of weather conditions, they dropped off. It's not that they wanted to, but I think with the storm coming through the different states, it's causing everybody to be affected with the internet. So
Oh,
bear with
darn it.
it. Right. Maybe he'll be able to come on in just a moment because he was here. He was here.
Oh, it
Yeah.
took
So,
me a minute to figure it out.
okay, hang tight. So, Zyron,
Uh,
how are you this
yes.
evening?
Oh, I'm okay.
Well, good.
Hi,
I'm glad.
Byron.
Hello.
Okay, Brycey, what I want you to do is I want you to mute for a minute for me, okay?
Okay, I'm not sure how to do that, hun.
All right, well, just hang tight, and and let me
I'll be
right facilitate the show. Thank you. So, Zyron, tell me a little bit about you and how you know Antonio.
I'm his older brother.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, Antonio is a great person. I haven't really spent a lot of time around him, unfortunately, but I'm quite proud of him and the progress he's made, and he's an inspiration to me, certainly,
Yes.
to push
Yes.
myself further. So
Yes, yes. I tell you, he's an inspiration to me also because when I met him, let me tell you what I fell in love with him immediately.
Mm,
Absolutely immediately. And the thing about it is that not only is he a gifted young man, but he's a giving young man. I mean, he
yes.
shares his heart and he shares the word with you. He shares his poetry with you. He shares his pictures with you. And so, and the most of all, he inspires you, so
Yes.
he's definitely a servant leader. I see he's back. I see you over there. Pricey is on, Antonio, and Zyron is on as well.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, Brycey, can you see him now? Excellent, excellent, excellent. I tell you what we're going to do. I am going to repost this on Facebook, and I'll cut out the internet, and then that way we'll get a chance to see it without the internet right interrupting. Okay. But what I want us to do now is I want us to go in and sing "Happy Birthday" to Antonio because I don't want to.
Ah, hello.
Hey, I'm not sure what happened. It must be on her letter.
Yeah, I think what Maxine was saying, and I'm the producer of the show, is that if folks want to sing happy birthday to the amazing Antonio, that I know a lot of folks would appreciate it, including Antonio. And I know at one point Antonio was going to sing or play a piano rendition of that particular song, but I think definitely, and I know that a lot of times folks get put on the spot this way, but they were wondering if you were wanting to sing happy birthday to the amazing Antonio and all along those lines. So I'm sure that whether folks can carry a tune or not, because I know I'm not the master of carrying a tune, but definitely if folks would like to give him a attempt at singing happy birthday, maybe in the Stevie Wonder style, maybe in not the Stevie Wonder style, or just the traditional style, and all along those lines. So, Derek, I also want to commend you because you did a great job of stepping in. I don't know what your day job is, but you did a great job of stepping in and helping the host with the Maxine and everything. So maybe you could do the rendition of Stevie Wonder and all of those lines. Or maybe you'll do like me when I draw stick figures. It's not the best picture and all along those lines. So definitely your thoughts, and if anybody else wants to chime in
Yeah.
as well and sing this particular song to the amazing Antonio. As you can tell, he's getting excited. He wants to hear it.
Yeah, no, I love the
Happy birthday
excitement.
to
Yeah,
y'all.
so if Brycey, you want to take yourself off mute and join in. So are you ready, Antonio? All right. So happy birthday
Birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday to
birthday
you.
to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Antonio.
Antonio. Happy
Happy birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Wow, we should just have Siren sing. Like I'm good. I could listen to him for a while.
I was going to say that was some good singing on some people's part, not mine, and maybe not some other parts.
Oh, oh, you playing a little piano for us, Antonio?
He did, and he played a little bit of the Happy Birthday. I recognize that rendition and all along those lines, but definitely a great job into that space and everything along those lines. So I appreciated it and all along those ways. And hopefully then Maxine will come back. But um, Derek, what was your involvement in terms of meeting Antonio and even Lori as well? Because, like I said, a lot of folks don't know this, but I can actually relate, and I've talked about this on other shows because I, as an adult, was diagnosed with dysgraphia, which is a form of dyslexia. So it was late in life and all into
Yeah.
that space and all in that kind of way. So how were you involved in Antonio's kind of projection and even in supporting them?
Yeah, so I met Antonio
Think
at
you're
the
funny.
same group that Maxine and that we'll probably jump into at the end of this show at the Every Dot Black, and Antonio just kind of reached out to me. So he was just like, "Hey, can you help me help me tell people about my birthday party, and he would just kind of text
Well, I
me and
just
call
want to
me, and
say
then
thank you for everybody attending. I know that we're all proud of Antonio.
and so just got
Tell
to
Mama.
and spoke with Lori on the phone as well, and so just
He's
kind of got to know a little bit about them,
a long
and
way,
on the path of knowing more.
and
Yes, definitely.
he's going to get to where he wants to go. There's nothing going to stop us, and that is our quote.
Yeah, I think they were breaking up as well. But
Yeah.
Derek, I hear what you're saying because as I was mentioning it earlier, and I know you got other friends that are in different parts of the spectrum, but a lot of the greats were actually in the spectrum as well, and some of them had remarkable math skills and remarkable
Yeah.
music skills. I mean, I think about people like Einstein and Beethoven and Mozart and a number of others that were in that same kind of category, but people forget about how great they were, and they definitely, like Lori was saying, didn't let their perceived disability, and I hate that term disability, stop them from being the best that they could be.
Well, I think especially with Antonio, like I think it helps him to put everything aside that I guess like I don't wake up in the morning in the best of moods. And we call it being on the spectrum, and we call it a disability, but there's an advantage to it. Like it seems that he takes the best parts of himself and puts them forward, where I think kind of the rest of us may be the ones with the disability because we don't see that, or we don't allow ourselves to do that. So we're disabled because we tend to embrace the negative, or we tend to embrace the worry. Even like with the riding, the 25 miles a day, like I love bike riding, but I could probably come up with 1,000 different reasons not to go for a bike ride instead of just hopping on the bike and going and enjoying the moment. So it really seems like Antonio really just kind of lives the moment, and it does it with joy and glee. And I think that's a great example for us all, where regardless of where we're at in our abilities to just kind of embrace the day. And we say it so much, but it's great to see it in action, and that's what Antonio does.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I've known some people of different levels. I mean, I've had some friends that were in the Asperger's. I've had some friends that were in autism and a number of other things. And like you said, a lot of times they are the joy, as y'all have described, Antonio, of the community. And a lot of people really enjoy the energy that they bring to a room.
Yeah.
And they actually get some inspiration from some of that energy and everything. Now, the flip side of that, and I know that Maxine sometimes brings this up, sometimes she doesn't, because she's definitely about life strategies and positivity. But I sometimes get frustrated. I don't know how you feel about it, or even our other guests, when there are a nature where a lot of kids are hyper, and sometimes the establishment sometimes want to kind of automatically assume that they are in those kind of levels and everything.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Lori was alluding to as well. But that is one of my frustrations, because I have nephews and I don't know that they're not the most hyperactive kids in the world. They haven't been diagnosed with anything that I am aware of. But I sometimes wonder if we as a society don't quickly label people, as you just alluded to earlier.
Yeah. So I used to work with teenagers, and we would have these arguments, and there are teenagers coming from like out of the juvenile system. And so some of my colleagues at the time would talk about the different aspects and different theories applies to them. And sometimes I would just say, they're teenagers. They're supposed to be weird and act up. And
Exactly. That's what I figured. They're supposed to act up. They're supposed to act weird. They're supposed to aggravate their parents. Because, like I said, I don't have any kids, but I do have my nephews, and I sometimes look at them when they're wearing their Oculuses or a number of other things, and going like, "All right, who created y'all? And are y'all still in our same family tree?" And all along those lines, so they're just being, as you said, typical teenagers, and all along those lines and everything. So I can agree with you on that.
Looks like
Lori,
we got Brycey back.
yeah, I was going to ask Bryce just some of his experiences with Antonio.
And what I
Yeah, we're here, Bryce.
and what I say is that that we all got to be proud with what God gives us, and it's the way that we deal with it. is, how life is going to go. And Antonio is not defined by any of this, by any
Hold on.
means.
Yeah, I agree. He
Okay.
definitely seems like he's not defined by anybody and is living his life to his fullest and all along those lines. So I love that
Um,
spirit. Like I said,
I,
yep, we hear you, Bryce.
We can hear you. Talk. Do you have anything to say?
Uh, yep, and I don't let anything define me by any means or any way, because of my disability that I had, and that I am a very smart individual, passionate, pure person.
Yes.
Yeah, I can definitely see that and
And he
everything.
has a quote that he would like to share.
I have a
Yes,
quote that I would like to share with
yeah,
all
please
of
share the
y'all,
book.
and for all of us today is sometimes life throws us curves, but what matters is what we do with those curves, and that we gotta stay strong and believe, work hard, and you'll achieve and come out on top. And always be positive and shoot for the stars, and always be thankful for our journeys in life, and know that on our journeys God is with us, and that we need to stay strong and believe.
And that is one of the quotes Antonio wrote himself.
Wow, that's amazing. Speaking of which, I wanted to bring that PayPal on because I do know that if people want to support him and all along those lines, that they can go to the PayPal, which is lburgess48 at gmail.com. And I definitely have that scrolling across and everything. And I'm sure that both his mom and other members of his family would definitely appreciate any support that folks want to share with definitely the Antonio and all along those lines. And one thing that I was thinking, Lori, as he was just talking, and I wish Maxine was here as well, is that whenever I think of the superheroes that existed, if you follow comic books and you follow things around those lines, a lot of those superheroes had what we would consider different abilities, because I actually like that term better than I do disabilities. But I mean, definitely, whether it was Batman, whether it was Superman, whether it was a number of others, they did have some weaknesses that they had to overcome as well and everything. So in a lot of ways, he's been his own version of Superman, I would think, and all along those lines. But what are your thoughts, Antonio? Do you see yourself as your own living version of a superhero? Don't know if you could hear me or not. What are your thoughts around that, Derek? Because, like I said, I think of these superheroes, and a lot of times they did come from different quote unquote tragedies, but they overcame in a lot of ways, and that's kind of
Yeah,
what even Laurie was saying.
I think that's really an interesting perspective to take. Because if you think about like all those, they usually do come from that tragic background, and it's really the hero that it seems like could be the diverging point. Either you have the villain who says, "Woe is me, and I deserve this from the world," or you have the hero that says, "I have this ability. I'm going to use it to help the greater good."
Exactly. That's where I was kind of going with that. And I definitely agree with you. By the way, some other people that were giving their comments. I know that Deborah Pitt was saying earlier about being his aunt and giving support. And definitely, uh, we also saw that Deborah Matthews Wright said that they were very proud of you and were wishing you a happy birthday on this particular day. And then there was somebody who was asking the question. And Lori, I don't know if you can take this question since I don't know the story behind it, but Nick uh, Foslet was saying, ask Antonio about Adam and me. So who is Adam and who is the me in this? I'm guessing it's Antonio, but they wanted to ask about that. So if you can maybe take that question, because I'm not familiar with the whole backstory and all along those lines. But what are we going to learn about Adam and me? Well, he disappeared, so maybe we'll find out on a repeat, or if they get this kind of the edited version and everything. Unless either Derek or others that are on here, but I did see that Nico had asked that question. Any clue whatsoever, Derek? or Zyron, because I think Zyron said he was related to Antonio.
Yeah, Zyron's his brother. I'm not aware of this story.
What's the story?
One of his friends said to ask Antonio about Adam and I guess either Adam or Nick or Adam and Antonio himself. I'm not sure, but it was something that Nico was asking.
Oh, I wouldn't know. Unfortunately,
That's Yeah, dude, I mean that's definitely something to ask Antonio next time we're on a phone call.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll have to
but
ask her about that and everything. Well, I know that, like I said, the weather was not cooperating. We did have some interference and all along those lines, so we're getting ready to wrap up shortly. We'll see if anybody else comes in to share their birthday thoughts. And I do know that other folks were definitely chiming in on the internet, and definitely Maxine has an outro that she gives, just like she gives the intro as well. I'm sure that we'll find some clips and other things from even this that we can bring in and all along those lines. As a matter of fact, we've got Lori and them back and all in that space. Hey, how's it going there, Antonio? Hey, Lori, just really quickly, because I know we're getting ready to wind down. Any final thoughts that you want to share? I'm sorry that Maxine had to have some of those internet issues. That was a very serious storm, even though it's gone now, because I see that we've got rainbows and other things that look like they're coming out. So the weather has cleared out, even though it was a little harsh earlier. So any thoughts or final thoughts that you want to share with the audience and all along those lines? So any final thoughts that you've got that you want to share? I'm sure that we would love to hear them.
Okay. Yeah, I would just like to say, stay in tune with your kids. That is our job as parents, to make sure that things are going the way they should, whether it's education, doctors, friends, anything. Be involved and show them things so that they can learn. Don't think that they can't learn, because they are very smart.
Yep, no doubt. Hey, Antonio, there's a gentleman, Nico, was asking Adam and Nico. So apparently you're supposed to have a story about Nico and Adam. So what is that all about, and what are they asking about? Because I'm not sure who those individuals are, but Nico wanted you to talk about the relationship that you have with them. So what is your relationship with Adam and Nico? Do you know Lori? Because there was a question that came across.
Yeah, they're just like friends to me. And and Adam is my pastor, and Nico is my friend from Canada, and we do Zoom meetings with each other, and it's great.
That support of your friends is very important and all along those lines. So definitely sounds like you have a great support network. And I've always believed that support networks are vital and all along those lines. So definitely it's glad that you were able to be on here. And like I said, we're getting ready to bring the close out. But if there are any other last minute thoughts that you have, I'll give the full screen to y'all, Lori and Antonio, but I'll give the full screen to y'all. And then if there's any final thoughts that you want to share, and then after that, we'll close out with the outros that Maxine gives, and I'll reach out to her afterwards and find out how the weather went in our particular neck of the woods. But I'm going to give y'all the full screen to bring any final thoughts that you want to share.
I just want to say, thank you, and thank you for everybody that tuned in, and for those who didn't have time to tune in, there's a website that has the live video recording of the show that you can tune into, and you can watch it from there, and God bless you, and God bless Jesus and our family, and I put Jesus first in all this too on his podcast, and that I mentioned him too on his podcast, and that he's one of our guests too, and that and hope you buy all my work and maybe buy some. And just want to give a shout out to all of our family that's up in heaven, and mostly God too, and want to thank them for attending too. And hope you have a great day, and love you, and God bless you all.
What a powerful message to be said, and all along those lines. And on that note, I think that Derek may have some closing thoughts, or maybe even Zarin. But on that note, we're going to get out of here. But I greatly appreciated all of you. And like I said, I know Maxine will be reaching out, and we may do a further recording at a later time. But definitely, I appreciated the insights that you gave, and I definitely think that you're doing a great job as a mom, Lori, and is definitely doing some great supportive work as well. So you need to be commended also. So I appreciate what you are doing, and look forward to hearing great things
for letting us be on and to have a great time as well, and as well as for the rest of our family.
And thank you for being a part of us.
And thank you for being
love it.
part of us.
Cool. And on that note, we're going to get on out of here.
All right. Thank you for having me. It was great.
Good. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance.